Hey, what's up everyone? So I'm going to try to put together a video trying to explain and show as best I can without taking everything apart on how I installed my 13-14 headlights on the car, because obviously it's a 2012 and these headlights come standard on a 13 and 14. I've had a few people ask me in the past how I installed them and what I had to purchase, because it's not an exact plug and play. But also with that said, since I already have them on the car and they're operational, I'm not going to be pulling everything apart, pulling the front bumper off, showing you by just trying to reinstall everything. So I'm going to take off the front radiator cover, show you the harnesses and what it plugs into, because you have to, like I said, purchase an adapter harness to make these headlights work on a 2010 to 2012 Mustang, not necessarily just a GT500. So let's dive into it. I'll do as best I can explaining it. I might F it up since it's already on the car. If I screw it up, if I skip a step, I'm apologizing in advance, but it's pretty straightforward. It's fairly easy. Okay, so first thing you have to do, obviously, after you've already purchased your 13 and 14 headlights, is you got to do the adapter harness. The adapter harness I got from 5.0 Motorsport LLC. I'll put a link to that right up here. So after he sends you the adapter harness, he also sends you pretty detailed step-by-step instructions on make sure everything's plugged in properly in a certain proper places. It's not that complicated. It is pretty straightforward after you see the instructions and you plug a few things in, and that's all you have to do. I spoke to the guy on the phone. He helped me walk through it on the phone also as well. He's extremely helpful. I'm just going to try to do the best I can from what I can remember without, like I said, pulling everything apart. So if I skip a step in regards to that, or I flip-flop a step, well, it's just because I don't want to pull everything apart and see everything firsthand. So let's get at it. Alright, so for anyone that hasn't taken off the radiator cover, you got these small little push pins everywhere. I just use like a little flathead. You just pry them out without snapping them. So just take like a flathead screwdriver or some kind of, probably like I said, the best thing to use is either a flathead or like a pry tool. They're plastic, so just make sure that they don't snap off. Pry those out and we'll take this off. Okay, so when taking off the bumper, you have just two screws on either side. Obviously, clearly driver passenger side. I believe there's 7 mil, I think. But yes, I believe those are a 7. So you got both on the sides, both the size 7, and underneath I think you have, I want to say six bolts underneath to undo. So you have the 2 on either side, and I believe you have 6 underneath. Another quick tip: after you have all the screws out, you have pull tabs on either side here. So you need to be careful pulling this apart. The reason why that is sticking out a little bit is because I actually snapped the tab underneath here. It's made of plastic, and after you take the bumper off a handful of times, it can get flimsy and you could actually snap it, which I did. So I actually have a replacement. Next time I actually need to pull the bumper off here, I'm gonna replace both of those brackets on either side. So just be careful. All you gotta do is pull out, but pull out carefully to unsnap it on either side. And if you do break them, well, you gotta go to the Ford dealer and purchase a new one. Okay, so after everything is unbolted, you got all the screws out on the sides, underneath, and then up here. These I think are an 8 mil. That's an 8, I think. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's 8. That's a 7. You got 2 underneath here on the bottom. So unscrew or unbolt the bottom one. Loosen that one, take that one off last. So I say that so you don't drop the headlight. So you take off the bottom one, you just loosen that one, so in case it drops, you don't F up your headlight. So then take off that one last. Okay, so after you got front bumper off, headlights out, with his adapter harness, it will have this wire. This wire also comes with a 10 amp fuse. Now the spot that this is supposed to go into is going to be the spot that you see this 5 amp fuse in. Pull that 5 amp fuse out and you'll have a slot for that 5 amp fuse put that 5-amp fuse in this bottom slot, and then just simply put this in the place of where that 5-amp fuse was in. Secondly, the problem that I ran into, to make this close, because it sticks out, not up, it sticks out going outward, and it won't close. Now this is something I did, I'm not sure if everyone does. It doesn't look the cleanest, but I had to trim out part of the side here of the cover for both the wire and the fuses, so it snaps in and it closes. Otherwise, you'll have an issue with it snapping in or not snapping in, so you have to just trim a little bit. I mean, that's my hack job, but I mean, it is what it is, and I don't think it looks too bad, but you'll probably have to do that as well. So for a ground source, you could use any of these ground sources. I use, like, you know, I just use this one here. You could tap into either of these here. So I thought I had one on that side, but it's on this side. So just use either of those sources for a ground. Okay, so the harness plug on the passenger side will have a blue and brown wire. So with that blue and brown wire, plug the passenger side headlight into that harness. I'm trying to show you as best I can, and this is why I didn't want to just pull everything apart. So I apologize if it seems cluttered in here, but yes, the passenger side will have a blue and brown wire. Plug that blue and brown harness, so that the wire that is blue and brown, into the headlight. Okay, so real quick, I just wanted to point out a side issue that I've had since I installed the swap here with the harness, and it's not like a problem, it's just more of a annoyance. So let me find my flashlight here. With the harness right there with the Sharpie on it, when it plugs into the housing there for the blinker, it's come undone. So if I'm driving the car and I hit like a bump, it'll like disconnect itself, and your blinker will do that quick blink like you have like a headlight bulb out or something like that. So it's happened to me probably 2 or 3 times since I've installed the 13, 14 headlights on the car. So what I did to avoid trying to lose it again, I put a Sharpie on the harness adapter right there so it stands out, and I zip tied it in place because it's fallen like deep down in there, and you to avoid having to pull off your front bumper and do more than what you have to, just zip tie it in place. Make sure everything, if it does come apart, it's easy to find and put back in, because it's been a pain in the ass, and it's a small issue. It's not really an issue, it's just something to avoid doing more than what you have to. Just zip tie it all into place. You should be fine. Okay, passenger side's done. It's that easy. That's all you have to do. Now on the driver's side, you'll have a cable running from the passenger side over to the driver's side. Now I ran mine up top, up here, so it's easy to find. It's easy to access. I just pull off the radiator cover, and it's right here. And you'll have obviously an adapter harness for the driver's side also as well. And you just plug in the harness into the headlight, and that's all I have to do. Now, if you plug it in and then you make sure you test it. So after you mount the headlights back in, don't button everything quite up yet. Just make sure it's all plugged in properly. Test the headlights. Now, if for some reason your blinkers don't operate, take the adapter and flip it 180 degrees and then push it back in again. A lot of times it can be flipped upside down. You know, that can cause an issue. People think it's not working properly, but all you gotta do, flip it 180 and you should be fine. Okay, so as far as I can remember, that's about it. There's not a whole lot of involved steps with the installation. Now, without me ripping everything apart and taking the headlights out and plugging everything back in again, I might have skipped a step. I might have gone backwards with a step, but from the best of my knowledge, that is pretty much all there is to the installation. It's pretty easy, pretty straightforward. Now, when you purchase the harness from him, he'll send you the whole step-by-step exact instructions on how to go about everything. And like I said, it's pretty easy, but like I might have skipped a step. So with that said, I'm sorry, but I don't think I did. Now in regards to the headlights, I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think he sells the headlight housing itself. He might, but when you click on his link and check out his page, that might tell you otherwise. But you can send him your factory, I'm sorry, if you have a pair of 1314 headlights and you want him to modify like the housing so the LEDs are like a different color, he can do all that stuff. He can change and modify certain things with the factory OEM headlights. Now I kept mine 100% OEM. I wanted everything the OEM 1314 look. I didn't want any of that stuff on mine. So he can do that. He does other stuff with the headlights also as well. Add strobes, I believe, you know, all that other stuff, which also requires other adapters and harnesses from what I understand. But I just wanted to keep the factory OEM look. Now with the taillights, those are simple, easy plug and play. That's why a lot of people do those over the headlights, because the headlights obviously involve like an adapter. But anyway, I hope it helps. I was trying to put together a video as best I could without taking everything apart and ripping it all apart, because there's not a purpose to, because it's already on the car. So anyway, if anyone has any questions about this, go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know if I messed up on a step, because I'm just going off of memory. So anyway, if you guys are watching this not subscribed, hit subscribe, like, and comment, and I'll catch you guys next one. See ya.